Say hey, Yellow Jacket basketball fans. I'm here with the boys coach, Coach Vince Layson. We're courtside at the Hive, and Coach, off to a nice start, and nice seeing you again.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
It has. We're getting things going right in the thick of the season right now.
Yeah, it is. You come in with a 12-3 record, 7-1. You're tied for first place with Adairsville, which I was at the previous Adairsville game, and boy, Calhoun's got a nice athletic team. Adairsville's real athletic.
Yeah, they are. They're a good-looking squad. So, this meeting we have coming up with them here next Tuesday should be pretty good.
We're going to take on Northwest Whitfield tomorrow night. Folks, we're doing this interview on Thursday. We're also going to be with you Saturday for the afternoon game against Dalton, and this is going to be at the Hive also. But let's get into our basketball team. Let's see. You've been coaching now for this year, 13th year.
13 going on 30.
13 going on 30. So you're getting real used to starting basketball season really late. Sometimes we leave the girls playing a single game because we can't match up quite with their schedule. But you're getting used to the Yellow Jackets winning state championships in football and delaying the start of your basketball season. How'd this year go?
Yeah, same old, same old. Those guys handle business out there on the football field, and it pushed us back to a later start. I remember looking through some of the stats and scores, from other teams, and some teams had played 12 games before we had our first game and/or practice. So, it comes with its challenges, but, those guys come in with a winning mindset, and, it's not a bad thing.
Many years ago when I was student teaching back up in Ohio, I did it at a school called Eastmore, and they had a pretty good running back that won 2 Heisman trophies. He played basketball, and the basketball coach up there said, it always takes me about 2 weeks to get the guys used to catching a round ball and getting their lungs and legs underneath them. How about you?
Yeah, it's definitely, for sure, a different type of conditioning. They come in and, they can go hard in spurts out there in football, but, basketball, it's back and forth, up and down. So I would say that's pretty accurate. You give them about 2 weeks and they get back, to where they need to be.
So the guys are pretty much assimilated right now?
Yeah, right now we're starting to hit hopefully playing our best basketball, and they're finally in shape. We're able to press a little bit more than we were at the beginning, and do some more pressure stuff in the half and full court. So we're getting where we need to be. 3
seniors on the team: Andrew Cochran, McCaden Griffin, and Jace Johns. Jace Johns and McCaden Griffin usually start or they're in the top rotation. So how's the senior leadership been?
It's been good. Those guys have been on the team for 4 years now, and with Jason McCaden starting on and off since their sophomore year, it's just business as usual with those guys.
As we say, we're going to be taking on Northwest Whitfield. Tell the fans what happened with the first game with them earlier in the season.
Well, it was a very low-scoring game. Those guys, they typically like to go sit in the zone, and, they dared us to shoot it a little bit, and we had an off-night shooting. We were able to play through it, came out with a win, but it wasn't a very pretty one. So we're hoping that tomorrow night will be a little bit more polished.
Yeah, 42-35 victory. Like we said, you're 7-1 in a region, tied for first place with Adairsville. Saturday we're going to take on Dalton, which is just a nice rivalry game. I mean, it is Calhoun-Dalton.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I told the guys the first time, and I'll tell them again on Saturday that you're not really playing for anything other than just pride in your school right here.
Exactly.
Cross-county rivals.
Talk a little bit about stats with the guys so far. Who's doing what for us?
It's pretty spread out for the most part. We don't have anybody who's really head and shoulders above anybody else in one category or another. We have Trace Hawkins, who's leading us in scoring right now. He's right at 11 points. And then we have 3 other guys right behind him. Jace is at 9, Trey Perkins is at 9, and Jackson Moore is right at 9. So you got 4 guys who are right there at double digits scoring-wise. And then you have rebounding-wise, Trey Perkins is shouldering the load right at 8 rebounds, and then Jackson Moore right behind him at 6. So, and then Will Jace right at 5. So those guys are shouldering most of the load statistically.
I'm impressed with Trey Perkins. his work in the pivot. And of course, we bring another guy who's even shorter off the bench, Blake Hammett, who just, I mean, quick feet, quick hands, and loves to get in there and mix it up. I mean, if he was 5 feet 2 inches tall, he'd want to be in the lane. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, you know, Trey's been great. He's had several double-doubles this year, points and rebounds, just, you know, using that football body to get in there and bang around a little bit, and he's been really good. And then as of late, Blake Hammett, like you mentioned, he's been awesome. The energy that he brings is just, it's unmatched, and you know, it's contagious, and it's been really good here the last several games. He's stepped into a starting spot, and you know, it's been really good for us.
Trace is your point guard, like he was the quarterback on the football team, so he's kind of running the show, so to speak. A freshman, but he's a little bit older than his freshman classification when it comes to sports.
Yeah, you know, I guess he got baptized in football season, you know, so he comes into here to us, and you know, you don't really realize that he's a freshman. You know, we expect him to do things that we would expect a 4-year starter to do, and he's come in and done that. You know, like I said, he's averaging almost 11 points and 4 assists a game. The kid's special.
Jackson Moore, the last 2 games that I've seen here, as just a fan sitting in the stands, is really progressing.
He's probably been the biggest surprise for me this year. You know, you mentioned the last couple games. I think the Lafayette game, he was an assist or 2 short of a triple-double, and I think he was a rebound and an assist short of a triple-double this past game. So he's done it all. He's gotten some of the hardest defensive matchups. You know, he rebounds the ball well. He passes well. I mean, he made the pass to Blake to beat Dalton on the buzzer beater a couple weekends ago. He's been all over the place. He's been fantastic.
And we're going to Dalton, and we beat him on a buzzer beater at our place.
Well, you know, it is what it is.
The rivalry gets deeper and thicker and more intense as we go. I'm watching Jackson, long arms, long legs, athletic. You know, I talked about Adairzel being athletic. Your team's pretty athletic.
We are, you know, and we have a good mix of kids between, you know, like Jackson, long rangey kids, and then you have like Blake, who's the bowling ball, lightning rod type kid. So, you know, we deserve a little bit of respect on that end as well. Okay.
We have a region tournament coming up pretty soon, and that's going to be held.
Don't know yet. That's going to be up to Coach Eccles and the crew. The girls' regular season champion is going to be the host of the region tournament. So,
and that's going to start?
Not next Monday, but the following Monday. I think it's the 7th.
7th of February?
10th.
10th of February.
10th of February, yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So your season gets condensed into, seems like, well, you know, when you get your football players back on the basketball team, you got a couple weeks to get them ready, and it's New Year. So, I mean, you're playing a region schedule like in 6 weeks.
It has been a whirlwind for us. You know, those guys, they won the state championship on a Wednesday. We had a game that Thursday and Friday.
Did some of them play?
Yeah, several of them came in and played. 0 practices.
Did they know the offense?
Well, that's why we put a lot of emphasis on summer. You know, when we say goodbye at the end of June, we always say, hey, we're going to have to reference all of what we've just done, because you're probably going to walk. I always tell them, you're going to walk straight across Yellow Jacket Drive from the football field over here to the Hive, and we're going to have to reference these conversations, because I anticipate you guys being very good, and there's going to be very little practice time. So, you know, at one point, the coaches were kind of looking at the schedule, and we were going to have, we may have had more practices than games now, but it's very close to a 1-to-1 ratio.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine.
It's been a whirlwind. I feel like, you know, I'm glad that this week we're getting some home games in, and next week we'll have some home games. I feel like I've been on a yellow bus on the road, just playing game after game after game. So,
what's your wife Carrie say?
I don't know. I haven't seen her in a while. You know, that's always our ongoing joke at the house, is that, you know, Valentine's Day comes during the region tournament, and that's hopefully going to be her Valentine's present. We can try and go get a region championship. But
Yeah.
we'll reconvene, sometime around March.
Or later, yeah. Well, yeah, it's going to be an exciting. It's going to be an exciting game. We got a rematch coming up with Adairsville. Of course, we're in the second round of the schedule, so it's rematches every week. You can't look too far ahead. You just got to take care of business. What's in front of you, don't you?
Just one game at a time. Just one at a time.
We're excited. Clint Thomas is going to be with me. We're going to be calling the game on Friday. It will be on. It'll be streamed. It'll be on CalhounTDClub.com/listen. That's on the Mixler app. So spread the word to your friends. We'll be at the Hive and announcing from the end of the next year bench, looking over the basketball stand, and hopefully we can get us another victory and just keep things going.
I hope so. It'll be good to have you guys overlooking us up there like old times.
I got to think some of the fans are maybe a tad surprised that we're at 12-3, 7-1. Did you anticipate being at this spot?
I getting back down to AAA, there was a lot of unknowns, but one of the things I was fairly confident is just like you referenced our athleticism. Some nights when we do, we have had a lack of practice, that athleticism shows up and kind of carries a little bit. So, I thought we'd be pretty competitive. I don't know how we'll be as far as, across the state goes. But I told our guys, I thought after this summer, which we had a really good summer, that, Sweet 16, Elite 8, it should be, well within our grasp.
Well, good. Congratulations. I can't wait to call a game. I am pumped up and fired up. And folks, we're going to be doing these weekly podcasts with Coach Vince and Coach Jamie. And so just tune in every late Thursday, early Friday, and you can find out what they're talking about and get a little preview on the game coming up. Once again, thank you very much, and can't wait to do the game on Friday night.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me.
You've been listening to Coach Vince Layson, the Calhoun boys basketball coach. They're 12-3 on the season, 7-1, tied for first place. They will be hosting Northwest Whitfield. We'll be on the air somewhere around 8:30 on Friday. Saturday's game is going to be a 3 o'clock start for the girls and approximately 4:30 for the boys. So we'll see you at the Hive twice this weekend. You've been listening to At the Hive, Courtside with Coach Vince Layson of the Calhoun boys.